The Nation Network presents Coming in Hot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coming in Hot. I am Brent Wallace alongside Jason York. It is Monday. The Sens are on a hot streak. They've won 2 in a row, Yorkie. Things are great. It's almost Christmas time.
Yeah, it wasn't looking good for a while, but a nice finish for the Senators on that last road trip. A couple big wins, Wally. So all is good in Sennies land again. So all you can do is win the games in front of you. And for Ottawa, very good finish. That Anaheim game they played, I thought, was one of the best games of the year. And in LA, what a play in overtime. So it's up to Giroux, and just a real exciting game and a nice finish to that road trip.
We won't spend a lot of time on today on the Sens, as we have one of our favorite guests on the show. But the show is always held together, and today it means more than ever because it will be on the rails slightly, I would think. This show brought to you, as always, by Renfrew Pro Tape. Go to renfrewpro.com or go to all the major retailers, Pro Hockey Life, Canadian Tire, Sport Check, all those places. Renfrew Pro is the one with the green core. They are the worldwide leaders in pro tape and the choice of all Stanley Cup champions, which includes our next guest because he has his name on the cup. André Roy, my friend, former Ottawa Senator. Woo! Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good talking to you, Wally, Yorkie. It's been a while. Well, not that long, but anyway, it's good to be here. Yeah. Renfrew tape is good. It's true.
It's funny. Andre and I have this thing every time. We don't talk all the time. That's why hockey guys are. You see each other, but you kind of pick up where you were. And every time Andre and I talk to one another, we always speak in Marshall Johnston's voice. So if he calls me, I'll answer the phone pretending I'm Marshall Johnston. Same thing. I called him back, and all of a sudden, Andre's speaking like Marshall Johnston. But oh man, it's we'll get that impersonation later. But great to have you on the show, man. It's been a long time. Things are good. I know you said the family is good. You're good. You're doing RDS. You're doing. Are you still doing your Jacques Martin imitations?
Yeah. Oh my God. Every time I do a podcast or whatever interview, people always ask me about doing impersonation of Jacques or whoever, so well, I do it. I mean, it's again, I always tell people my favorite coach was Jacques Martin, and I had Torts, who's tough, Mike Keenan in Calgary, Michel Therrien in Pittsburgh. I had Ed Olczyk for briefly there before he got fired, but Jacques was great. He gave me my chance, and when I do that, it's not to make fun or that, just because I've heard him so much. He was good with me. We had a lot of one-on-one conversations, so that's how it just came up, And but I love Jacques again. He was so good to me, and I appreciate my time that I was with him.
Well, you're gonna be like
one of our favorites.
I remember Wally when Eddie Murphy was doing Raw and Delirious, but he said after he started doing his stand-up, some of the people started coming looking for him. So like Jacques. Like, what does Jacques do when he sees it? He say, "You got to stop doing that."
Yeah, no, I didn't see Jacques that much. I know he's like I do RDS. He's on TVA Sport, the other station, kind of like TSN and Rogers, So, but I've crossed paths with him with my show that I do with RDS. We go on the road. We interview mostly French people, French guys established because obviously it's in French. And I saw Jacques a couple years ago when he was with Pitt, and he was kind of funny, actually, during the show. It's kind of funny. I have a co-host, and he goes, Andre, you coach Jacques, you've coached Andre, I imagine it wasn't always pretty or, was there moments or how was he to coach? Like, how was he as a player to coach? So Jacques says, and I couldn't believe it, Jacques goes, he's like, well, I got to say, if Andre would have put as much concentration on hockey that he did at the strip joint, he would have been a great hockey player. Hey, I couldn't believe coming out of Jacques' mouth. Like, I couldn't believe he said that. I was like, where does that come from? What the hell? Everybody loves Pigalle. It's no big deal. No, but it's, I was just surprised to hear Jacques say that. It was funny, though.
Jacques,
So,
Jacques
have you-
had a he had a sneaky sense of humor, Wally. People think he's this boring guy, but he was pretty
So-
good. Little shots like that.
Andre, did you do the Jacques Martin impression in front of Jacques Martin?
No, I've never. But it's nothing. It's just
Ah.
from what I remember. It's mostly. Andre, I think is an individual that needs to be under control, and he's very physical, and we need that down the road. But needs to be under control to stay in the lineup, and his condition is important too. And it's just stuff like that from hearing him, and that I just start kind of having fun with it, but I've never done it. I don't know. I had, like I said, I have respect for Jacques. It's not to make fun, just to have people laugh again. That's what I'm all about.
It's so good. It's so good. And funny, I'm going to go right to it because you brought it up about tough coaches, and you gave the list: Jacques Martin, Jean Tortorella, Mike Keenan, Mike Therrien. You had a few others in the minors I also looked up as well. But was there and I know you really liked Jacques. Was that hard? I guess who was the hardest on you? I'm going to guess it's Torts.
Yeah.
Did you not get along with everybody?
Yeah, I mean, and I know a coach's role is to push his players and, have them, just make sure they give the best night in, night out. But Torts is an emotional guy, and I think myself also. So I think what happens a lot of time, our head clashed together, and it created this fuel between me and him. Sometime we had some good fuck you matchups, sorry my language, but a couple times, and he kind of liked that because he challenges you, he challenges guys and wants to see what you're all about. But sometimes I just felt that there was a lack of respect on his part for what I did. It's a tough role, and I know sometimes I went maybe overboard. I've done some stuff, got suspended, and then he's trying to give me the little you're in a doghouse and that, but my pee-pee whack, like we say. But Torts was just, he was hard on me. It just, towards the end, it was good. We won together, but there's some moments, especially how I finished in Tampa, some moments, after with Riley Cote, it kind of went, there was no more communication between us. He kind of scratched me, wouldn't talk to me, and, I was treated kind of like a piece of crap, like, say, Roger would say, crap. But
so, okay, then I want to ask about a tweet. In 2011, you said the Sens are playing the Rangers in the playoffs. You said, good luck to the Sens, basically my old team, Ottawa Senators, beating those cocky, arrogant New York Rangers. Yeah, I said it. Bon chance, Sens. That's John Tortorella was coaching that team. So was that directed at anybody in particular?
Yeah, wow. That's way back. I just retired. I was frustrated. I was pissed off. I think, you know what? Yeah, a little bit of Torts, but a little bit of who was playing there. I would watch that team, and who was on that roster, but they were all so I don't know if Sean Avery or I'd have to look up the roster. But I watched some of their games, and guys were all playing. I hate guys that played like the role, pretend they're all tough, and then they'd have somebody else come and kind of jump in. I don't know. There was a couple guys that bugged me on that team there that I didn't like, and I wish I could dress and just run them like back in the days with the Leafs and Sens series there. I used to just crush guys and love it. But yeah.
Let me think here. Brandon Prust, Brandon Dubinsky.
There you go.
Avery
Dubinsky. Avery Dubinsky were bothering me, actually. And on D, maybe there was some guy on D there. Oh, anyways.
Brian Boyle was there. Brian Boyle was there. Derek Stepan. You know what? Not okay. Hang on. Ryan McDonough, Steve Eminger. There is. I know you're talking about. I'm trying to find the roster.
But was the Purifier on that? What about that?
Avery?
Was the Purifier on that team, Andre? Remember him?
Oh, Dale Purrington. Yeah.
Oh,
I actually played a little bit with him. And is that him, Purrington? You're talking about?
Yeah, he played with him.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. After Providence, before I went to Ottawa, I got sent down in Charlotte. And he was out of the juniors, and we were in Charlotte. I played 20 whatever games there because of again, in Providence with Tom McVie. It was another situation there. I had a little temper, but anyways, Purrington was there. He was quite the funny guy. He would jump anybody. He was tough, but just crazy, kind of, like just he wouldn't care. He would just do all kinds of stuff. I was like, holy cow, he's one of the Hanson brothers. But he was, it's funny to watch, anyways. But but he didn't bug me that much. But I think, like Wally said, I think more Dubinsky, Avery, maybe Boyle too a little bit, but again today I'm not trying to. They're playing their role like every team. I'm not trying to. Who cares now? Maybe back then I just wanted to play and run guys. Yeah.
And I hadn't seen that tweet until I was trying to find some stuff on you that maybe stories haven't been told.
Wow.
And I found this one. I was like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got lots of questions. Let's go to Tail of the Tape right now. It'll lead us more questions. Okay. That is Tail of the Tape, brought to you by our good friends at Renfrew Pro Tape. 123. That's the NHL fighting meters you had. Preseason, regular season, postseason.
Yeah,
1,157.
Look at that salad, eh? Wow, what's wrong with me?
It's pretty good.
I think it's the next day of Pigalle. It's the next day of going to Pigalle late, and Jacques told me, well, Andre, okay. But, yeah. Sorry.
1,157 career PIMs, which was the 7th most between 99 and 2009. 4 games with 1 goal and 1 assist, but never a Gordie Howe hat trick, which was the easiest part. And finally, 1 assist from Sidney Crosby, March 18th, 2006, which ended up being, by the way, a game-winning goal.
Okay.
Those.
See, I recognize the important moments.
I think you had 5 game winners in your career, or 5 or 7, 35 career goals. Do you remember that 1 assist from Sidney Crosby?
Wow. No, actually, no. If I think back, I remember one time coming out of the penalty box, Sid gave it to me. It was a 2-on-0, basically. And Sid gave it to me, and I tried to do a move, and I missed. I said, I should have just gave it to Sid and let him score, But went to the bench and felt shame. But, yeah, I don't remember at all that moment. But I remember in the shower with Sid. No, just kidding.
Okay, let me ask you, do you ever remember an assist from Daniel Alfredson?
Not either.
It's a trick question. He clearly never passed you the puck because
I didn't play with him.
Yeah. But I did look up on March 21st, 2000, Jason York scored a goal assisted by Colin Forbes and André Roy.
Yes. Forbesy.
Wow. Hey, Colin Forbes and Chris Herperger. I think that was my 2 line mates that year. And then my first year was Kevin Deneen and Sean Van Allen. That's right. So, yeah.
Oh, boy. So Andre and I were roommates for about a year. I had Reds for a long time, and then they put you and I together. And we talked about this. I had a few fights. I wasn't a fighter, but I had to fight Ken Danico one game. I don't know if you remember this game. We were in New Jersey, and we didn't have a real tough team. We had you. And that was pretty well it. You were on an island by yourself, and we were playing Jersey, and I think they had Danico, they had Lyle Oldline, they had Oliwa, who was like nuts, and they had. So I think you got into it with Niedermeyer.
The 2 tough guys.
That's my first fight.
Well, we knew it
probably Oliwa was chasing me. That's the first fight of the game. I said, okay, I'll get it over.
Andrew Watt, number 26, is in the position that Christophe
back
was
then.
3 years ago.
He hit me there on the ear. I think right here. My ear was like kind of.
And the veteran, the guy with probably another
He was like,
maybe 40 fights more in the National Hockey League than Andrew Waugh. Wins that one fairly clearly, Mike, but this kid here has battled his way up.
Anyways, he was chirping me as I'll fight him, get it over with. And then the second fight, I think it's a 5-on-5 kind of a brawl start in front of the penalty box. And I remember being in the scrum there. Yeah. No, I think the second one, Niedermeyer, I didn't know it was him. He was yanking on my jersey, Scott Niedermeyer, the legend, great defenseman. But I didn't know. I turned around, started throwing, and then I saw it was Niedermeyer. But we were already fighting, so I think I kept punching him. I split him. He was bleeding on the under the eye or over the eye. Then the whole team wanted to chase me. Jacques put me back on the ice in the third period with 4 or 5 minutes left. That's when Oliwa came back. And then there was Surrey was out there. Randy McKay, Danico, and Odeline, I think. Yeah. Is that 5? And it was Odeline was there because I fought Odeline. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they had so many tough guys. They were all fighting over who was going to fight you. They were fighting each other. I want him. I'm going to fight him. I'm going to get him. And you're like this. You're looking this way, that way. And then on the ice, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, Danico comes over to me. He's like, all right, let's go, kid. And I'm like, oh, great. I grab on the Danico, and I see you surrounded by all those guys. But Oliwa was I remember Oliwa used to come by our bench, and nobody could understand this guy because he was, I don't know what language he was speaking, but you used to just give it to him with the voice all game long. And that's the exact voice you would do, and it would drive him crazy. But
you're right.
It was amazing, though. He was nuts. I was just going Go ahead.
Yorkie, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, at the time, though, he was about 250. And something was going on because he was ripped and he was nuts, and all he wanted to do was fight. And then that was after him, like you said, there was Randy McKay, there was Odeline, there was Danica. Yeah. The list went on. So, not a fun team to play against, especially for a guy like you.
No, exactly. You know what? I always tell people, like, I did the role. I fought pretty much everyone, but I never considered myself like a big heavy, and I would fight all those guys just because you want to stay in the league. You want to kind of like Neeler did, you know. He was maybe 220, stocky kid, you know, but I was maybe in Ottawa my first year. I think I was 214, 215, and my last year in the NHL I was 223, 224. So I kind of was in that range my whole career. Guys were 250, 260, 245. I did the job all right. I would go and do, you know, whatever to hang in there. But you're right. To get back to Oliwa, he's Polish. I think he comes from Poland, so he's tough. His English was maybe a little worse than mine. But it was hard to understand, so I would give it to him just on the way he speaks. Hey, boy, he come and kill you. And after that big brawl, I remember 2 weeks later, we're in Ottawa, and Jacques brought me in his office. He said, well, Andre, tonight, Jersey, they'll be coming after you probably again. And repercussions from last game. It's like going to war, Andre, with pistol, and they have bazookas and tanks. We can't play that game with them. So I was like, yeah, okay. So just let him go. He's like, yeah, just play the game. Let him. So in warm up, Oliwa, you fucking dead. I kill you tonight and cut your head off. So I was like, all right, we'll go. Oli, we'll go first shift. And I remember he came right at me, and I gave him the Barnaby. I pretend I wanted to go. He jumped me. I kept my gloves. 2-minute power play. We scored. He didn't play a shift the rest of the game. He wanted to kill me even more after. But Jacques liked it. We scored on the PP. So I was like, anyways.
It was then we became the turn the other cheek. Just don't do anything. Let them punch you. Go to the penalty box. And you were great. You ended up doing some stuff with Barnaby. Didn't you do some stand-up shows with Barnaby?
Yeah, actually, because I do these charity events, hockey games, and a lot of time it's for good cause teams. They make up teams and they raise money, and they get to play with a pro player, a former pro player. So I start doing these. They kind of like my sense of humor, whatever, you know, the way I I don't know how I am, especially with a couple drinks in me, anyways. And one of the guys that was there had the idea of because they would bring us up front and share stories. They would call it a hot stove, kind of like you guys do. Anyway, so this guy said, I want to do something with you and Barney, where you share stories. We could do this at the comedy club, maybe at Yuck Yucks in Ottawa. I was like, hey, I'm all for it. Just set it up, and let me know if it works. And then he did some calls, whatever. The guy at Yuck Yuck said, sure, yeah, it'll be fun. So we packed, I guess there was a lot of people of Barnaby's family and friends because he's from there. But we packed it up, shared stories, and had a couple drinks, and it was fun. So we did a couple, me and Barnaby, and I did one with PJ Stock at one point too. And it was kind of fun. It's sort of like comedy stand-up, but there's two of us sharing stories, so I kind of like that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That New Jersey game, you had 26 minutes in penalties, just so you know.
Yeah.
You talked about I'm pretty sure you fought Matt Barnaby at some point. I can't remember now off the top of my head, but is it weird to talk to guys after if you've had some scraps with them in the past?
Like some of these events I just talked about, I see a lot of former guys, and they're all good. They're all great guys. It's funny but Barney, I remember I asked him in Pitt when he was with Pittsburgh, and I don't know, he, you had to be careful with him. I didn't want to get sucked in, but I was like, Barney, we're going, let's go. Okay. Then I was like, okay, we're going. He's like, no, I'm not going. We're going. We're not. Anyways, Barney, you had to be, so it just didn't happen. But but I've seen like guys like Jim McKenzie, great guy, John Scott, Colton Orr too once was there. You get to talk to these guys. Even PJ Stock, I fought him twice, I think, and we've done some stuff together. Most of the guys, once it's over, it's all good. There's always, even like you see me, I come back on the Riley Cote. I snapped on the bench, but it was all the environment, all the Philly fans yelling at me. You feel kind of like you let down your teammates. You're embarrassed at yourself because it was one of the first time I got my bell rang like that. So he hit me on the sweet spot. So I just buckled, So after that first fight, I thought I had the edge. But anyways, so it was when it happens anyway. So I'd really Cote now today, let's say in an event, and I would be like, I talk to him and it's over. What do you want to do? It happens. Every tough guy had their bell ring at one point. Proby, McSorley, Brashear, you name him. We all, Domi. It's part of the game, and what do you want to do? So guys are all good. Most of the guys are really gentlemen, and they're great, to talk to. So,
did you ever want to fight Chris Neal?
It was tough because when I got traded, Nealer was there as a rookie, so we were together in Ottawa, and I don't know, just that's tougher because guys you played with, I always found it a little. I remember one time, how Nealer plays physical too. He was running guys. He crushed one or two guys in Tampa. So I went on the ice. Torts put me out there. Nealer came in. I said, Nealer, we'll have to go because, you're running guys. He's like, Nealer was kind of just smiling, and he was like, I can't fight you, Wazzy. I can't fight you. So it was kind of funny. I was like, okay, well, I understand, so I just, let me at least just push you and show that. He's like, okay, just do. So I kind of cross-checked him, and then he kind of smiled, and then I pushed him again. Then we kept playing, at least it shows that I kind of went and asked him to go, but I'm sure Nealer would have fought me. He fought everybody. He was tough. I don't want to say that his head's going to get bigger, but but he would have fought me in that situation. But it's tough to fight guys you've played with, and Nealer and we kind of got good along good too. But it's if you have to at one point, you have to do it. Oh, what do you want to do? It's part of the game, right?
It's too bad. It's too bad that Nealer came in when you were on the way out because he was the rookie. He wasn't really established. Because I was listening to what you said earlier. When you were on Ottawa, you were by yourself. You fought all the big guys, but you didn't really have a lot of backup. Although Kevin Dineen, he was pretty tough for an old guy, wasn't he? Like Dino was.
Dino.
He was sneaky. He was sneaky tough, and
lefty.
he was
lefty.
great. But a lefty, and but if Nealer and yourself at the same time, and you just missed each other, and it's too bad, you guys, because you could have done. That would have been a fun team to be a part of.
I always said that, like, we had a lot of skill up front, and I think we were missing a little bit of toughness in Ottawa, and I don't think one guy is enough, because every time we were there, the years we played the Leafs, we finished first in the season in our division, but then when comes playoff time, we lost first round the Leafs because they had Tucker, Domi, Corson, Wendell Clark, McCabe could be nasty and feisty. We did the trade, though, of Yash for Big Z. You know, Z came in and they had Nealer, but I think if I would have played on a line with Chris Neal, maybe Mike Fisher centering us, or it would have been dangerous. We would have been physical and probably, like, I love to run guys, Nealer too. It would have been wow, you know. But, you know, it's the decision they took. I guess maybe it was, again, well, Andre, too much Big Al. But no, I don't know. But I wish I could have stayed there.
Well, you told me when you did get traded, you said it was weird, right? Marshall Johnston calls you up, and you said it was this real nice phone call, and you're like, what's going on? Am I got traded? You said it was weird, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it was, and I remember we just lost Mike Fisher to a knee injury, so I think at the center position where we were, they wanted another centerman. I think a good guy that could kill penalties and play good defensively. So, and I was playing great. I remember Donnie Brennan, my buddy, because he wrote great articles all the time. Anyways, he liked that kind of part of the game. But anyway, there was some good articles. I was playing well and. Just being, you know, under control, contributing here and there, like Wally said, a goal and assist, no goalie. Oh, well, how did that not happen? I don't know. But anyways, and I was at home, and all of a sudden the phone rang, and hi, Andre, it's Marshall Johnson. So my heart kind of stopped, because I was like, either, you know, they like how I'm playing and they want to give me an extension, or there's something going on, probably. I don't know. Is it waivers, trade? I don't know. But the GM calls you there. It's always a little nerve-wracking. So I was like, yes. He's like, well, Andre, I want to start. I'm going to say we just traded you to Tampa Bay. I want to start by saying I want to thank you for everything you did for the community, the organization. You've been great at this franchise. We need a centerman, so we traded you to Tampa Bay. They're expecting you there. You could come to the rink, pick up your stuff. And you were great, but we had to do some move for the team going down the road. And I think that, you know, I don't know if it's similar, but it was something like that. I didn't say a word the whole time. No, but the whole time I'm on the phone and my mouth's just like I have the jaw drop. Like, I'm like, I just got traded for real. Like, in my mind, I didn't speak. I was like, okay, thank you. And I hung up, and then I was just sitting on my couch, and I was devastated. I didn't see it coming at all. And then the phone rang, and it was Jay Feaster in Tampa. He's all pumped up. I'm like, it shook me a little bit, but they traded me for Juha Jalonen. Great trade, and no disrespect. He was good Finn player, but just, you know, I was upset. I just thought, you know, they could have maybe used a draft pick or something instead of me going to. Well, but it turned out great. You know, I made Tampa win a cup instead of Ottawa.
It turned out good. It turned out good for you. You got your name on the Stanley Cup. And that's at the end of the day, that's what you all play for, right?
Exactly.
Ottawa threw in a 6th round pick, which ended up being Paul Ranger for Juha Jalonen.
Wow. Hey, we lost Andre.
Apparently he didn't like that.
Okay,
he's back.
I'm back. Sorry.
Okay.
I had an alarm there.
No, it's all good.
So Paul Ranger was okay.
Yeah. March 15th, by the way. So interesting, like, and you said it worked out great for you. You ended up playing with Vincent Lecavalier and Brad Richards and Martin St. Louis, and you just played with Haas, and you played with Chara and Alfie. Like, all these guys end up in the Hall of Fame. Of course, Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Who is your favorite player to play with of all time?
There's some good play like Ottawa, obviously Haas, Yorkie, no, but Haas and Yorkie's like, what? No, but Haas and Alfie were something to watch. They were, and Yorkie will agree. Yash, I played the year he came back to fulfill his contract. I know he was skilled, but Alfie, just in practice, even playing keep away after practice, the set of hands on him, the way he saw the game. Marian also, just the way how he progressed as a young player, unreal. Obviously in Tampa, Lecavalier, Richards. I always like to say Marty St. Louis because his story is phenomenal. Never drafted, just came out of nowhere. A short guy, and in Tampa he took off and just became what we all know his story now. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but he was a guy that just compete night after night. Off the ice, he was very disciplined. And the way how he was short, and he would take a beating, like he would get a lot of cross check, face wash, punch in the head, but never complain. Like, obviously, there's situation he'd be a little sour of how the ref let it go, but he would stand up and be right back in the middle of the net and competing for his size. The way he compete, I always think of the movie Rudy when I think of Marty St. Louis. Just the way his career turned out was unreal. But obviously, you talk about Crosby. He's something else too. He was young, but just the way how he's so serious and off the ice too, on the ice, and the way he prepares himself, how he shows up in great shape every year. Just unreal talented, but great to see. And in Calgary, Iginla was another beast, one of those power forwards that I love watching. They can take care of themselves and play the game also. So all these guys, but Marty St. Louis, I think, sticks out just for everything he went through and to what he became after.
And no visor.
Do you think he would be head coach of? Hold on one. Do you think he would be head coach?
Wow, no way. Well, not as soon as this. Probably later on, because no, you know what? I would think he would become a head coach because he's a hockey nerd. Like I say, I like to say nerd because he watches hockey games. He studies. I remember one time he asked. Things weren't going too well for him. He went to see our video guy, and he asked him to take out all the shifts of his games. We played the last 2-3 games, every shift he had, and he brought that home, looked at the way he played, what he didn't do right and wrong. Just he wanted to improve as a player, and I was like, man, nobody does that really. Like, we watched video in the room but just you could see how he just wanted to improve, get out of a slump. So he's a guy that watched a lot of hockey, and when he signed in Montreal, that surprised me big time. If he would ever become a coach or something, I would think maybe assistant with the Rangers or go to Tampa or something. Then in Montreal, head coach out of nowhere, that surprised me. I talked with him briefly. Obviously, he had the connection with Kent Hughes there, but Marty, like he said, I've been watching a lot of hockey since I retired. He's been in contact with a lot of people in hockey too. He worked with the Jackets with Tortorella also. So, I'm not surprised to see him where he's at and the way he approached the game. And, the young guys seems to like him so far. It's working well for Caulfield, Suzuki, and those guys. So, he's doing well anyways.
Yeah, Andre, everyone's got their team, like Wally said, their best players, but you must have an all good guy team too. I've got my all good guy team, which is basically the guys you enjoyed playing with the most, the guys you say, that guy was fun off the ice, that guy was a good teammate.
Yeah.
Wally named all the teams you played for. Who are a couple guys, because you're a character, you're a funny guy. Who are a couple of guys that you used to play with? That used to, that guy could make me laugh, or that guy
yeah. Yeah, no, you need that on a team. Like, obviously, honestly, I always got along with everyone on a team. It's rare that there's a guy that I wouldn't get along. there's always a better connection with certain guys. I think in Ottawa, Redzy, you know, we got along. Yorkie too. If I go to Tampa, Mark Bergevin was there for a little stint briefly. He was funny. And John Graham, I liked hanging out there. He was a backup goalie. Me and Johnny, we liked to, you know, just hang out, have a couple beers here and there once in a while, you know. He was fun. He's a good guy, fun to have. Colby Armstrong and Pitt was kind of a funny kid, you know, skinny body, long face, you know, but good kid. So there was always a couple guys like that were kind of fun. Ryan Malone, too. He didn't care. He just, I'm in the NHL. I love it. Let's party. Let's do Jaeger bombs. He was that kind of, you know, but obviously when I talk about having a beer dad, there's a time when the game came, we were all serious and prepared. We wouldn't be like idiots just partying nonstop, but when we had a day off or we would be on the road something and we wouldn't play for 2 days, whatever, we'd go out, have a beer, and there's certain guys like that it'd be fun to be around, you know? So, yeah.
You mentioned Mark Bergevin. I don't know if you guys ever heard this story. The time when he was in Pittsburgh, I don't know if you were on that team, and it was a pregame skate, and Berge went out in just his underwear, and the Zamboni was doing laps, and he went behind the Zamboni, and he pretended he was water skiing behind the Zamboni. He was going back and forth. He was going back and forth on the wing.
Yeah,
I heard that story. And the whole media and people in the stands were just dying. I know you've done a lot of funny shit in your career, man. You got something that tops that one as far as the water skiing's pretty good, but you've got. I know you've told the one with the airplane. I know with the cookie up your ass, but you had a couple of good ones. I just remember the one time you used to go in the bathroom and we'd have lost a few games in a row, and all of a sudden I'd go into the bathroom and you'd have the shaving cream out and you had a big beard and you had a hat on and you'd be pretending you're Santa Claus, and you'd run around the room with just the shaving cream on and no clothes on, chasing guys around.
Oh yeah.
You're a guy. You didn't really make it up. You just kind of did it spur of the moment. Like nothing was planned with you. It was so, and that's what made this stuff great. You just did it, and the guys. You just had a way to loosen the guys up when we needed it.
Exactly. I'm more of a guy that reacts on the moment, you know, like more than a jokester, you know. Some guys just know a bunch of jokes. I kind of like look around and I want to do something just to have the guys laughing and that. But I remember my first year commercial, Haas, we were flying commercial and we'd have to wait in airports and we're sitting, I don't know where, and Bonky and Haas were sitting with me, and I started just doing what people are thinking while they're walking with their luggage. Some people are running, some people, and I would just pretend what they're thinking and saying, but I'd say it out loud next to Haas and Bonky. They were crying at one point, you know, just this girl would just walk with her head down. Oh my God, right now. Can't wait to get home. Wait till I talk to my husband. He's going to get it for trying to, you know, just stuff. Then the other guy, oh my God, I'm sweating my bullets. I'm going to miss my plane. I don't know. I was just making up stuff in the moment.
Did we lose him again?
Yeah, he'll be right back.
I think he pressed that button again, Wally. Oh boy, I tell you, for guys though doing stuff spur of the moment, and André had a knack for doing it. And you remember when Tampa brought him back for his second tour of duty? He was there, and then they brought him back. One of the big reasons they brought him back was because he's so good for your dressing room. Like you need guys like that, and he's got great timing for doing, because you can't, like you said, you can't be a jokester all the time. You got to find a time and a place for doing it. But André had great timing to do something, whatever the mood may be. Hey, he's back. There he is.
Sorry, guys, because I put an alarm. I got to go get one of my daughters at school anyways. But but I real quick, if we go to stories, I said that, now it looks boring, but you had to be there. But I remember in Calgary, let's say I'll share this one. I remember they have the bobblehead nights. They always do a night for a certain player in Calgary. They had the Dion Phaneuf night where they give little cardboard faces with the elastic. You put it on. So the first 5,000 fans or 10,000 fans would get a cardboard face of Dion Phaneuf. So I remember I was scratched. I come in the players' lounge room. There's a bunch on the table. So I said, I got to do something with this. So I start cutting a hole in the mouth there, and I put the cardboard face right on around my waist there, and I pulled on my my thing, so I taped it all around my waist, and so I was walking around. It looked like the singer of Kiss there with the tongue sticking out. Gene Simmons. It looked like Gene Simmons. So I got naked, and I was waiting till the guys go on the ice. So with 3-4 minutes, I ran in the locker room. The guys were there. I started doing jumping jacks with the cardboard face of Dion Phaneuf. And I had my thing flapping like the tongue was going up and down. Todd Bertuzzi was crying. Todd Bertuzzi's laying on the floor in the locker room crying like a baby. He's like dying, like he's hitting his knee. And I'm like, let's go Flames! Just doing jumping jacks around the room there. Guys are howling anyways. Phaneuf is taping his stick. He kind of laughed, but guys were dying. Some guy, even again, anyways, then I went back out because one of the assistants came in because he was like, what's going on in the room? He could hear guys laughing. Anyways, but I've done some stuff like that. But it's just like kind of have moments to have guys,
I haven't heard. That's the first time I've heard that one. That's pretty good. Good.
I try to think of it.
Wally, do you got anything else?
Well, so do you have to go?
I could drive with you guys like this, like just.
No.
One last one's good.
You can go.
One's good.
All right. Well, so the reason I
more.
wanted you to come on at this point was that the Sens were struggling and they weren't winning. And I wanted you to talk about the importance of guys like you in the locker room at that particular moment when the team seems like can't get out of a funk of what your role is at that moment to try and change the fortunes.
Oh, no, I always tell people it's so important. I know it's on the ice. You have all the skilled players and everybody has their role. But I think just to have a guy that's kind of funny, a guy also that's going to maybe bring the guys together, like just to have a good dinner together, or even like let's go out, have a beer and just talk together and have a good time, And some coaches, sometimes they were up for that. Like, you guys go out, have a beer and just have a good time trying to change maybe because in a season, it's a long season. You have videos, meetings, and when you start losing, it kind of gets... It's tough. The mood is bad, and that's where I think you need guys like that just to change that. Either in the bus and the plane, just do something funny, or in the locker room. I think it's important to have one or two guys that can pull stuff like that, just to have guys just have a good time, and even on the ice in practice, if you just do drills at the end of practice and make it fun again. It's all about having fun. I know it's a job and that, but at the end of the day, we're still playing hockey and we're supposed to have fun doing it. And there's serious time, but you definitely need guys like that just to make the season kind of, when it's tougher, when you get into slumps and losing streaks like that, just to change the way the perception of everyone, the negativity also, it gets long and it brings you down. So just have guys like that change all the mood. It's definitely a plus, I think, in a hockey club. Right, Yorkie?
Are you competitive? Are you competitive in beer league hockey? Do you play?
My beer hockey league?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I take it easy. I have fun now. I play in a league here. It's always the same guys. Obviously, we change the lines and that once in a while, but there's no idiots that trying to prove themselves because, you're playing the NFL. It's good, but I try to score, but it's pretty, we have Eric Desjardins, Jason Pominville, Dupuis, Pascal Dupuis, and myself.
Jeez.
And it's not too bad. Then the rest, there's former guys that played, but the pace is good, but yeah. I try to still score goals, and not like Neeler. Neeler, tries to be Marc Messier every night, but I keep it fun, and I'm enjoying myself right now. No pressure, don't need to fight, and it's really fun. Now I'm having a blast. I love to play. By the way, if the Sens ever play an outdoor game with alumni, man, that's my dream. I would love to play an outdoor game at least once in my life before I can't even play anymore anyways, but message sent.
I will tell them.
To the daughter.
Tell them.
Melnick.
All right.
And I'd like to get my jersey retire next to Neeler also. Message sent. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Go get your daughter. I don't want to make you late for school.
Yeah.
Guys.
Hey, Andre. Thanks, man. That was awesome.
See you, pal. Thank you.
What time's pickup? 4 o'clock?
When? 4 o'clock.
What time are you picking your daughter up? Yeah. Oh, 10. You better get going.
Around 4, but I'll drive like Duke of Hazzard. And just jump the railroad track, and
that's
all right.
That's basically like this show just going off the rails. All right, see you, Andre. Take care.
Hey guys, my pleasure.
Care,
anytime. Call me back. We'll do it again. Hey, from Pigalle. All right. See you guys. Take care.
There goes André Roy, one of our all-time favorites. Yeah.
I think he set a record for Pigalle references. I think he got at least 6 Pigalle drop-ins there. We're going to have to talk to him about maybe some sponsorship now.
No, we don't. By the way, speaking of sponsors, this show is sponsored by BEI, Bonisher Excavating Inc., helping you to shape the Ottawa Valley. If you're looking for landscape needs or aggregate, go to bonisherexcavating.com. Give them a call, 613-432-1120. Bonisher Excavating, also looking to hire, by the way. Bonisher Excavating, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. All right. A fantastic individual, and always he's just funny and entertaining. And so, as I was saying at the very end, like when I asked him to come on, nice job, Alex. When I asked him to come on, the Sens were struggling, right? And it didn't look like things were going well. And I think it was like the second game into that 4-game trip. There are times when you need guys like this, I'll ask you about it, but like Neeler or Paul Bissonnette, even Ryan Whitney is one of those guys. There's like a few that Colby Armstrong, that have that sense. Colin White is the last guy I can think of with Ottawa. Do you remember instances where you get those guys in the room and the impact they can have off the ice that it translates on it by just keeping guys loose?
For sure. And Andre had great timing, like I said earlier, Wally, because you can't be like that all the time. And he's a smart guy and tons of energy, as anyone that just watched Andre go off. You just wind him up when he goes. But no, it's like a fighter that has to pick the right time to have that fight. It's the same with your room guys. And the best thing about the room guys, it's usually not your captain or your best player. It's usually a guy like Andre who just kind of understands people, knows when to do things, and he's such a funny guy. Like some of the stuff he used to do. Yes. Unfortunately, we can't talk about all of it, but had fun off the ice. But I'll tell you one thing: he wasn't a guy that was out the night before games. So night before games, he wasn't out drinking or anything. It was business, game, and then after the game is the time to have some fun. And that was the great thing about a lot of those Ottawa teams. We had a lot of fun, but it's about picking your spots as a pro. It's not party all the time, and let's have a great time, because otherwise you're not going to be a very good pro. It's do things the right way, and that's one thing about Andre. He was a really good pro, and picking the spots at the right time, and it's just knowing when to do it. And he had great timing, Wally, and every single team. Like I said, Tampa brought him back more so for keeping the room, keeping the temperature of the room, the right temperature of when to dial it up, when to bring it back, when to say something funny. And you know what's funny about guys like Andre? the best players on the team, like the Marty St. Louis, like the Crosbys, the Lemieux, Alfredsons, they love having a guy like this because it takes a lot of pressure off the team of it's like you take a knife and you slice the tension at just the right time. And all of a sudden, guys, hey, we're playing hockey. This is fun. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, we might have lost a few games, but let's relax here and go out and play the way we can. And that's when something that an André Roy becomes that valuable to your team.
Be interesting though, Yorkie, if in today's NHL, I should start by in the social media world, if he could get away with most of that stuff. And the reason I say that, because back in early 2000s, this is going to sound probably weird, but you guys only used to just get changed right in the room. You didn't used to go back. That kind of changed. And André would always be gear down all the time. Like he would walk around with a clown nose, which I don't know where he got, but he would be just, he would just have a clown nose on. And so there was a lot of that stuff that happened. I don't know with today's cameras and phones, how much you could get away with as often.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing, the media part of what people see of the team, it's such a tiny, tiny snippet. André was great for playoff runs when we would, a lot of times when I was with Ottawa, they would sequester us to a hotel. So you're stuck in this hotel, you're there to prepare for the series and everything. André would get the guitar out, start singing, start making up songs, and would be great for times like that. So he loved his naked time and all that in the dressing room, but there's a lot more layers to the onion with a guy like André behind the scenes, on the plane, times when it's just the team around. And I tell you, I remember a guy like André. I only played with André for 2 years. 2 years, that's it. But I could tell you so many things and stories of just, and not even about hockey. It's and I always say this about teammates, former teammates. The best teammates are the ones that you know stories about of good times off the ice, of being a good guy, being a good teammate, going out for dinners, and just those guys always, they just have a special place in your little hockey history brain of an ex-player. So I have an all good guy team, Wally. I've got my all good guy team. André was the starting left winger on my all good guy team.
So what is Jason York's all good guy team?
Well, you're going to put me on the spot here, right? So at left wing, André Roy is, and being a good guy, it's not just about being a nice guy and a good teammate. You got to bring something to the table. You got to be funny. You got to do something. You got to be a guy you want to go out for beers with. I got Wade Redden on the left side D. And here's another guy, a surprising guy on my all good guy team. I only played with this guy for one season. But every time now he comes to Ottawa, he's now an assistant coach with the Boston Bruins. He calls me. We go out for a beer. Only played with him for a year, but we had some laughs. He was a great guy. We were both defensemen. John Gruden, now the assistant coach for the Boston Bruins. At center, this guy holds the record for most times traded in the National Hockey League. I came up with him in the minors. I got traded with him once from Detroit to Anaheim, and then our cross pass later in Ottawa. Mike Sillinger, I believe, he holds the record for most times traded. And then the next one's tough, but one guy who I still keep in contact with, played with him in Nashville, played with him in Ottawa. You'll remember this guy, the Swedish guy, Andreas Johansson. There's a name from the past.
I have his stick.
Oh, so how many sticks do you have, by the way?
Like 6. But he was one of the first. So that year, because I didn't want to ask, but that year, I think was my first year. I should double check. He had like 20 goals by November or early December. Go to the Christmas break, comes back. He scored 1 goal the rest of the season. I've never forgot that. He was on fire. He also married Miss Sweden, by the way.
Yeah, Susanna.
Yeah.
No, I went
I
down
really,
to one of
I
my.
really liked him.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. I went down to one of my greatest road trips of all time. I always tried to take one really cool trip in the summer when I was playing. And Andreas, because guys will say, I'm going to come visit in the summer. And guys never come, whatever you know how hockey guys are. They say they're going to do something and they don't do it. Hey, show me your surprise face. So AJ, we're playing in Nashville. He's like, you got to come down to Sweden. I have a golf tournament. I want you to come down for my golf tournament. And I'm like, I'll be there. So I get a flight. I fly down to Sweden, and we had invested in this company at this time. It was called Oasmia, and they had this drink that was supposed to boost your immune system and help you fight against cancer. So we both invested in this company. We go to the lab in Sweden, and we both take the drink. We drink it, and I don't know what was in that drink, but for the next 5 days, we barely slept. We went downtown Stockholm up till 5 a.m, went to his golf tournament, partied all night. And as people know, in the summertime in Sweden, it doesn't get dark till midnight. So you're going all day, all night. But Andreas showed me around Sweden, stayed at his place. One of the best trips I've had in my life, going to Sweden in the summer and partying and doing his golf tournament. And this was the weird thing. Because anybody that's ever played in a celebrity golf tournament, one of those charity events, you go and all the carts are lined up, right? You go to your cart. So I get to his golf tournament. I'm like, where's the carts? He's like, carts? Nobody takes a cart in Sweden. We all walk. So at this charity tournament, so I'm like, give me a caddy or something. So he goes, runs over, grabs the Swedish caddy. Goes, there, come caddy for Yorkie. So I'm the only guy with a caddy at this tournament.
Wow.
And, but how weird is that? Like charity, there's always a golf cart, but that's Sweden for you. Then we went to the bar that night. Same thing. I get to the bar. It's midnight, and there's about 500 bikes parked in the bike rack at the bar. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, we bike to the bar here in Sweden. And I'll never forget that. And we left at whatever time it was, 3 a.m. Everyone's on their bikes and they're driving home from the bar out in downtown. This wasn't Stockholm. Andre was in not Gothenburg, but it was I forget the city, but it was unbelievable. What a beautiful country, especially in the summertime, Wally. But yeah, everyone walks there. Must be why they're so skinny.
It's beautiful city. I've been there 3 times. Loved every one of them. Awesome time. I can't wait, by the way, Yorkie, now that you're retired and you take these summer trips for where we're going to go this summer, because now I'm part of the team. So it'll be you and I going somewhere.
Well, you know where I want to go next. I spent a year in Lugano, Switzerland, and I won a championship. We won the Swiss Elite League Championship. And whenever you win something, this is what the Swiss guys told me. Whenever you win something and you come back, you're treated like a king. So all my buddies, they want to go on a golf trip to Lugano, Switzerland, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with that area. It's that Lake Como, mountains. Oh, it's unbelievable. Beautiful. One of the best experiences I've had in my life. But that's going to be next. We'll do a live show from Lugano. We'll coming in hot live from Lugano.
Yes. I was supposed to do Lugano in the last year. So 2020, I think the World Championships, they got canceled, but we were supposed to go to Lugano. So I didn't get to go, and I was excited for that one. But anyway,
yeah.
All right. So tomorrow we're going to do a live show again, 3 p.m. We're going to talk about the Sens. Currently now the whole world's changed. They've won 2 in a row, so we can relax. We don't have a new head coach. We can settle down now, right? All this stuff. Well, at least for another game. So we're going to talk about how the first 21 games went, what to expect, what were surprises, disappointments, excitement, all that stuff. Coming up tomorrow, Yorkie. So join us, won't you? That's 3 p.m. Thanks again, as always, to Renfrew Pro Tape and to BEI. We'll see you next time.